You know, I'm kind of excited because recently I've gotten a lot of feedback about my MaskLogic set of actions, you know, these Photoshop actions that I made many months ago. But recently there seems to be like a renewed interest after I posted a video recently. I don't know, maybe the algorithm is just showing it more often, but people are asking all kinds of questions. They're wondering how it works, and people are really excited by it. And I'm glad because I'm excited by it. I use it all the time. And so what it is, if you don't know, if you go to the actions, it is a series of actions. And we have videos that show it all, guys. So you can check those videos out. I'm sure they're linked somewhere here, and you can see exactly how it works and get the full instructions. I'm going to give you a quick demo here because someone asked me, hey, what happens to like tattooed skin, especially heavily tattooed models? Not that well. Okay, we can talk about that because that's mostly related to Adobe's AI when it comes to skin tone selection or skin selection in general. But we're going to do that here with a shot of Lindsay. But I wanted to show you guys just how can we work with all these masks in a way that we can intersect the mask. I mean, adding and subtracting masks is pretty straightforward, but intersecting is something people either don't think about or it's not clear how to do. And there's a few different ways to do it. But if you want to create them quickly, especially once you run the main NBP portrait mask bank, you end up with, inside your channels window, you end up with all of these masks. You have the skin mask. We just talked about that. You notice that Adobe's AI recognizes tattoos and skips it. Now, how successful these AI masks does vary. For the most part, the skin mask that Adobe does is really, really good. Like any masking, regardless if it's created with an AI system or manually, how accurate it needs to be depends on what you want to do with the mask. Heavy, massive, radical changes to an area, the mask has to be really nice and really blended in. Subtle changes, you have a little more freedom. All right, so there's the skin mask. Then we have subject mask, which probably most people are familiar with. Background mask, the invert of that. The mouth mask, not as much useful in 3/4 shots, but you never know. The eyes, the hair mask, which are usually really solid by Adobe. You'll see that right there very clearly. Wardrobe, you know, wardrobe missed sometimes, but there it is. It exists. And then we have saturation mask made with chroma data, so it's accurate saturation. You can see the tattoos are darker, meaning they're less saturation. Okay. Clearly, highlights, which is a kind of a linear highlights from the maximum brightness to the midpoint. Midtones, again, linear, focusing on mids, and then the shadows, so you can do things with. And then we also recently added depth. So this is the depth background and the depth foreground. Now, that's cool. All those are great. But more important than that to me is what we can do to intersect them, because intersecting mask is so powerful, right? So I'm going to duplicate the background layer for no reason. So let's open up the calculate action, which all it does, guys, is it calls calculations, which is just a function that Photoshop already has. But it has some presets in there, takes the settings and puts it exactly what you need to quickly make intersections. Okay, so watch this. Calculate advanced. You can also do this in other ways, which I'll show you in a minute. It goes from the same image to the same image. The channels are the key. We currently have it on gray and gray, which is just kind of a default, does not matter. But here's what you can do. Let's say you want the saturation of just the skin. So you choose one, it doesn't matter the order, say subject mask, right? Oh, excuse me, skin mask. Okay, and then the next one, you would say saturation. There's the saturation of the skin, right? While you're there, you can leave skin alone and say, okay, you know what? Give me the highlights of the skin, or give me the midtones of the skin. Or you can put from skin, you can go to subject. Give me the midtones of the entire subject. Give me the midtones of the background. Give me the midtones of the hair, right? That can actually be very powerful. I mean, highlights of the hair, shadows of the hair. This gives you a way to pre-visualize what's coming up, because all you do is hit OK, because that's also been set up down here as the result. So you hit OK, and now you have a selection of the hair, of the midtones, of the shadows, or whatever it was. I'm going to deselect that. Okay, so if we go back there, because we were mentioning earlier about the skin selection, and I'm going to do saturation. Obviously, the tattoos have been skipped over, which is good. That's what we want, because the tattoos don't have as much saturation, at least in the black areas of the tattoo. So now when we hit OK, we have a selection. You can't always see it. That's just Photoshop though. So if I go to color and vibrance, I'm using the saturation mask of just the skin. That's extremely specific. I'm going to crank it so you guys can see the result. And there we go. It went from this to this, increasing the saturated areas of the skin. I'm not saying that's good. I'm saying that's a result, right? Now, if we didn't do that, hold down Shift and click, you see that's what's adding saturation to the entire thing, or vibrance, I should say, is what we're doing here, okay? And that's the beauty of that. But more important than that, in terms of speed, if you're used to this and you don't need to necessarily preview, that's why all these helper actions exist, right? Remember I mentioned earlier, right? We had the skin saturation, you tap that, boom, you have it done. Come back to color and vibrance, and now you have that mask immediately assigned, right? It doesn't have to be color and vibrance, by the way. It can be anything. So you can go to skin saturation and then go to curves. And now we can brighten and darken just the saturated areas if for some reason that's what you wanted to do, right? We mentioned the hair earlier, so let's see where the hair is at. Here we go. Hair midtones, we can tap that. And then if we go to curves, I don't know, it's just an example. We're messing mostly with the mids, and it depends on where you're starting from. If the hair is dark, it's not going to have a lot of mids, right? So how about the hair shadows? We can come in here. How about a photo filter? Why not? And we can add a violet, which is basically a pink. And now we're adding violet to the shadows of the hair, which is going to be a little more accurate to color hair with, right? You see how fast that is. Once the mask bank is made and residing in your channels, all of these helper actions now can work instantly, right? If you tap them without your channels bank, it will fail, okay? But anyone that also doesn't exist will fail. For example, the hat and highlights, those don't exist. So those are just going to cause an error, right? Because there's no hat that was found. And that's another thing. When you run the main mask bank up here, anything that doesn't succeed, in fact, I'll just show you real quick and then cancel. Anything that doesn't succeed, you just hit continue, hit continue, hit continue, hit continue. It'll just warn you, hey, can't find this. Hey, can't do that. Hey, 50% visible, et cetera, et cetera. You just keep hitting continue. And in the end, you have whatever mask it can make residing in these channels. Now, the depth maps are kind of interesting because those are kind of new. They are pulled from Adobe's Neuro filter, which is still in beta on the depth map. So they're okay, they work, but I haven't added them straight to the main portrait mask bank because that will probably change. And Photoshop, Adobe will probably make some changes on that soon and I can adapt. But you can choose those right here. Depth background channel, depth subject channel, you can create those. That's what all these little TV icons are for. You can make these channels independently. So for example, let's say I'm going to revert the image so we can get rid of all our channels the fastest way possible, right? So let's say I want a skin channel. You tap that and Photoshop goes into its brain mode and starts doing what it needs to do. And instead of you having to save a channel, you having to save the selection or whatever, in the end, what you get once it finishes computing and choosing the selection and everything, you get a beautiful channel ready to go. You can use it whatever you want. All right, cool. And then you think to yourself, all right, how about we're going to get a saturation channel? That's really fast. And then we're going to have a depth background channel. That's really fast. Boom. And now we have skin available to us, saturation in general available to us, and a depth background. So when you go to calculations, if you want to, with the preset, you only have those three instead of all of them, right? So you can still say skin mask and saturation mask, and now we have a saturation of the skin. You can also say the depth background if you want. With the skin mask, no. How about we just leave that on gray if you want? You can do that. You can also create a simple background channel. Those happen really, really fast. And boom, eventually. There you go. Okay, go back to calculate. And we can choose, no, not here. We can go here and say like background and saturation. Now we have the background saturation. And we hit OK, and we have the selection we can do anything with. That is not just like convenient, but it gives you ideas of what you can and cannot do. Some people don't realize that when you intersect masks, it can really wake things up. For example, you can make these selections manually, absolutely, and I recommend that you do. But let's say you go ahead and say, how about give me a background channel and give me a highlights channel. Give that a second to finish. Must be having a router issue over here, cool. And then I can say, how about a highlights channel? Something like that, cool. And I'm gonna go to calculate, and I'm gonna choose background and highlights, and I'll have that, make a selection, go to curves, and within a few seconds, I'm popping the background highlights very clearly off and on to create a beautiful contrast spike, right? If that's what I wanted. Who knows what ideas you can come up with when you think about these available masks and how you can intersect them. You can also use them as they are too, don't get me wrong. You can just hit skin. Doesn't have it, so I show you that demo, right? But you can just hit, for example, background, it'll make it immediately. You don't have to reprocess that AI, right? Since highlight exists, you can just choose here, highlights. Well, I don't think I have it here. It's on top, yes. Highlight selection, there it is, boom. So ideally, in a perfect world, especially if you don't mind waiting 25, 30 seconds, depending on your system, if you make the portrait mask bank, all these work instantly. That's the beautiful part about them, is that they make things happen instantly in terms of subtraction and addition and intersecting. Now, subtraction and addition is actually really quite easy. So if you click on a mask, you can just hold down Command or Control, on a channel, and you can tap it, right? And then if you hold down Shift and Command and tap another one, now you you didn't intersect and you added them. So now I've added the background to the highlights. So what does that give me? If I go to curves, for example, oops, let me just get back to RGB. What I have is now the background and the highlights of her, which a little strange, but you never know. Maybe that's what you need in your world. I don't know, right? But think about how you can add, subtract, and intersect masks, because there's so much that can happen, not just for brightening and darkening, not just for saturation, color correction even. So many different options, especially when you start with that big mask bank. And we have another one here called Core Mask Bank, which has nothing to do with portraits. And that's because it's going to skip skin selection and hair and mouth and things of that nature. It'll just skip all that and go a little bit quicker. In fact, I'll just go ahead and show you, because if it's not people related, it actually goes pretty quick. It's going to do subject, don't get me wrong, subject and background. That could be for a car. It could be for a wildlife shot, for all I know. You know, there's so many different things you can do with it. And then couldn't find a sky to select and all that. Boom. That's all we have. We have subject, background, saturation, highlights, midtones, and shadows. And we can still use calculate to quickly do things. So we can say subject, and we can say saturation, and we still have that. We can say midtones, and we still have that. It doesn't have to be a person necessarily, but if you don't have a portrait, just skip that and it won't make all those other channels. That'll happen a little bit quicker. Now, if you have any other questions, please let me know, because MaskLogic is kind of infinite, the way you can mix and match all these masks. And there's people who have shown me things that I never thought about before using mask intersections, and I'm always using it and coming up with new ideas as well. So drop me a question down below, or nbp@ninobatista.com.